Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I feel like I look so different right now because I haven't worn a full face of makeup in the longest time, and I'm like looking at myself and I'm like, that is a lot of makeup. I look like I have a lot of makeup. But this video is going to be all about our trip to the Cincinnati's Children's Hospital. I was gonna include everything as far as what we learned, what's the next step, how did it go, all of that into that vlog, but I decided to keep it separate and just have that video be our visit and then kind of go into detail where I can just talk endlessly like I always do and just kind of keep those things separate and just focus mainly on how our trip went. So I'm just gonna go and jump into it and just say how crazy things align, and in this situation everything truly happens for a reason, and for that I have been feeling super grateful, blessed, and thankful and lucky to have this opportunity for Nolan and for him to go to the Children's Hospital in Cincinnati, because I always, when Nolan first got diagnosed, I was researching different hospitals. There's also one in Boston that have really good muscular dystrophy doctors, and Cincinnati was one of them, and I really never thought that we would get the opportunity to go, or it would be even an option for us, because we were out of state and with the type of insurance we have and obviously not having the funds to go to the hospital. But just through the whole trial of it all, even though it was very emotionally draining and time consuming, it was worth it 100%. I tweeted about this. I felt for the first time since Nolan got diagnosed that I didn't leave confused or feeling helpless. It was almost like a sense of relief that these doctors have Nolan in their best interest and they know what they're doing and they know what is going to be the best thing for Nolan, and this just opened so many doors for him. So I'm just so excited to tell you guys about this, so let's just get into it. So they wanted to do like a full workup of Nolan. They wanted to have everything. Of course, I had to get all his medical records from the past to them, but they just wanted a clean slate. They wanted to do just a full workup. So let me just grab his schedule. I have like a whole binder of like Nolan stuff. These are all his papers from all the blood tests, from the diagnosis to his surgeries, like everything, like his life is in here. Okay, so we'll first start with the DXA scan. I really wasn't sure what that was, but I think I showed you guys in the vlog, which will be down below. It was like a full body scan of his bones, and the reason why they did that is they wanted to measure his bones over time. They wanted to make sure that they're growing like they should. Boys with MD, I don't know if it's for other muscular dystrophies, they're more prone for their bones to break. And there's also another thing that she talked about. It's not really a fracture, but it's something that can happen over time within the bones. I wish I could remember what she told me, because honestly there was so much information, good information of course, so much information thrown at me that it was hard for me to take in. But anyways, they just wanted to do a scan, a first initial scan. All right, so after his scan we then met with a nurse practitioner, and she gave us a lot of great information, and things that I didn't even know before. So she was very helpful. And then we met with a nutritionist, and she kind of went over things. We kind of went over what Nolan's diet is like, and I got a couple questions in my last video if I brought up the food allergy, the red dye allergy, and I did bring that up, and she said, well, since it doesn't bother him, he doesn't really get hives, it's like a splotchy rash that he has, and he doesn't have any other symptoms, that there's nothing to worry about. And I honestly didn't think that there was anything to worry about either, because of the lack of other symptoms. Like that was the only symptom that he would have. But yeah, the nutritionist was great. She went over everything and kind of the special diet that Nolan will have to be on, which I had already researched before when he was first diagnosed, and I was researching everything, so I had an idea. But it was really good for her to kind of go into detail about everything and just basically anything and everything nutrition wise. For Nolan, the three things that are going to be key for his dystrophy is the physical therapy, the treatment, and his diet. And then we met with the neurologist, which I can't tell you guys how amazing she is. I don't want to say like I'm dismissing or bad mouthing his neurologist, because his neurologist at home is really good as well, but there's just something about him where I feel like he's just not invested in Nolan, and there has been a few discrepancies when it comes to him. And I could just tell, like, everybody at the hospital, and even the nurse made it very clear to me, everybody is on the same page. We all meet together, everybody's on the same page. So stuff like this doesn't happen. And then, you know, we did mainly talk about him being on steroids and then being off steroids, and you guys even witnessed that in a previous vlog at his last neurologist appointment, that there was a lot of frustration there as far as steroids. So it was really good to hear her perspective on everything and what she thought is best. It's crazy because as much research as I've done, I'm still learning and I'm still trying to decide what's best for Nolan, and it's really hard when I don't know everything myself and I just try to do. The dogs are fighting over here if you guys hear that. So she really reassured me with a lot. Without getting too technical and too confusing, in the dystrophin gene there are 79 exons. Think of it as like a sequence. There's 79 sequences. So we were going over the certain exon that is affected in Nolan's dystrophin gene, and what's interesting is, you know, as soon as like Nolan got diagnosed, my immediate thought was treatment, or how do we treat this? And that gene, or that exon, I guess you could say, is what will determine that. Which I first want to say, everybody that sends me articles or any kind of information on treatment, I greatly appreciate so much. But I did learn that a lot of clinical studies and a lot of treatment, they're only targeting a specific exon. It's interesting because not all DMD boys will have the same symptoms, or they'll not have the same progression. It's all different. It's all individual. So unfortunately, they're mainly focusing on the exons in the middle, not really the ones in the very beginning or the very end. And in Nolan's case, he doesn't fall in the middle. So that was the main thing that we were going over as far as treatment for Nolan. And like I said, we did talk about the steroids and taking him off of it. So she gave me a lot of great advice on what she thinks is best for Nolan and the direction that he will need for his treatment. We kind of came to the conclusion that putting him back on a steroid would probably be in his best interest. I feel like his old neurologist was kind of treating him like a little bit, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but kind of like a guinea pig, like kind of testing him out to see how he did. And, you know, putting him on the steroid and then taking him off 6 months later and to potentially put him back on, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, because it seemed like he was very indecisive as far as Nolan. And I know not doctors aren't perfect, but as a parent, I want to feel confident in the treatment for my child. So putting him back on a steroid and doing different doses and different frequency is going to really benefit Nolan. Any of you are familiar with muscular dystrophy, or just if you've done your own research or you've heard about the drug Deflazacort, then you might know that that is a new steroid on the market and it has less side effects, but at the same time it's not easily accessible and it's definitely not the cheapest either. But that is the steroid that she thinks Nolan would do best, and she actually did write me a prescription for it, but we first need to get a booster, another booster MMR, and a TB vaccine before we can start the steroids. She wants to make sure that we go ahead and do that. I'm going to be going back to this because we did see her after cardiology, but I just wanted to go ahead and talk about cardiology. We really don't have to worry about cardiology right now because it doesn't really affect Nolan. So it was mainly just like an introduction. We did get a full workup with an echocardiogram, a EKG. There was one thing that they wanted to talk to me about specifically, and that is starting to get test for cardiomyopathy. I always say that the wrong way. It's interesting because carriers of DMD, their chances are increased of getting cardiomyopathy, and they have to go in every single year, I believe, to get it checked. So I was told that I wouldn't have to wait until later on, but they're like, no, it can happen in younger females and it's better to be safe than sorry. So that was basically the whole cardiology portion of his visit. And then we went back to neurology, and this is when the neurologist kind of did different tests. She timed Nolan as far as how long it took him to get up from the floor and stand up, his running, climbing stairs, and she just did a whole bunch of testing. She was actually very, very impressed with how fast Nolan could get up and how fast he can run. She was very, very impressed. And it's interesting, and this is not 100%, but she said in some cases with Duchenne, there's something called intermediate Duchenne, and I hope I'm not confusing anybody, but it's not like Becker, which is very similar to Duchenne, but it's not as rapid as far as muscle deterioration and loss of movement. It's a lot slower of a progression, but there is something called intermediate Duchenne. She can't obviously say for sure because it's something we have to monitor over the years and how Nolan progresses, but she's almost certain that he could be even just intermediate Duchenne. So hearing her say that, I don't want to say it got my hopes up high because I don't want them to get high and then that not be the case. But just hearing that gave me a little bit of hope. And I don't want to say that even if it wasn't intermediate, if it was just downright Duchenne, that there wouldn't be hope. But at the same time, in these kind of situations, like any kind of good news or hope like that, it's hard not to hold on to that regardless. But like I said, I'm not trying to get my hopes up high, but she did do a lot of tests. And another thing that she gave me a prescription for that Nolan is going to start wearing, they're called, I don't know the specific name for it, but he's gonna have to start wearing those like ankle, they're not really braces, they're pretty much just like ankle boots. He'll have to start wearing those at night to keep his ankle and foot at a 90 degrees because with his muscles, they can get very relaxed. And it's good to keep that angle for his feet. It helps with walking and just muscle movement in general. So we're gonna have to get those, as well as shoe inserts, because Nolan is pretty flat-footed and that doesn't help with his arch and walking. So we'll have to get some inserts for his shoes. So those are two things that we'll have to get. Oh, and another thing I totally forgot is that we met with a physical therapist. And you guys know before I was told he really doesn't need any kind of physical therapy yet, but the physical therapist like, yes, he can definitely benefit from it right now. So we went over some stretches and I learned the stretches that we should be doing daily with Nolan, and she said yeah, he can definitely be benefiting from physical therapy right now. She took some measurements of him. So I know I just threw out a whole bunch of information to you guys and I'm probably leaving something out, but I wanted to go ahead and make this video and kind of just let you guys know what's going on. But also it's just a great documentation for me and how I'm feeling in this moment. And I almost wish I would have done this video like right after, where everything was fresh in my mind. You guys know that day was just very exhausting for all of us. I forgot to mention that he also had to get an x-ray and blood work. So all in all, it was just a very long day for us, and especially Nolan, just all those testing and poking and prodding that he had to go through. But I know that by us going there, it's going to open up so many doors. It's going to be amazing for his future, and I'm just really, really lucky that we can go there. As far as the future goes and what is to come, we will continue going to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital every single year. I don't know how it's going to be with insurance, if that's something we're going to have to fight for every single year, but you guys already know. If you've been watching me for a while, I will continue to fight for Nolan. I will do everything that I can for him because he deserves the world and more. And if that's what we have to do, then we will do it. I can't say it enough. I'm just feeling so lucky and blessed that we got to go there and meet with this neurologist because she is so amazing. You guys, I just felt like she had Nolan in her best interest. She knew what was going to be best for him. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can, because like I said, I'm probably leaving out so much. I know you guys have your own set of questions as well. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you have messaged us or commented somewhere or tweeted, I've been trying to read everybody's messages as much as possible, but it's almost near impossible to get back to everybody. But just from that, I can't thank you guys enough how much it meant to me. I will admit, I've been very emotionally drained, and just reading your comments and messages, it was the only thing that was really keeping me going and keeping me strong. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. I know a lot of you have followed Nolan's journey. Some of you are just now getting introduced with Nolan's muscular dystrophy, so you don't have no idea what's going on. But regardless, if you've been thinking or praying about Nolan, it means so much. And honestly, I don't think I could get here in this very moment without you guys. I really don't think so, because you guys have given me so much great advice. You guys have been thinking about us, and I can't thank you guys enough. Sometimes I just wish I could give you guys a hug personally and just say thank you face to face. You know, YouTubers, including myself, are always saying thank you so much for watching, thank you for this, thank you for that. But if I could really say it and express it the way I'm feeling it, sometimes it's so frustrating because I really want to thank every single one of you personally, and it feels almost like diluted when you're doing it through a camera, if that makes sense. But I want to let you guys know from the bottom of my heart, it truly means so much, not only to me but our whole family. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold